independent. Thank you, Licia.
Thank you everybody for coming today, and to the different alliances that have put on an event like this. When you have the nation focused on a by-election like this, then this is the absolute platform to elevate an issue. So thank you for doing it, and I think you will find that there's an alliance of views up on this stage. I do not believe and will not accept that our choice on this issue is between people dying at sea and permanent offshore detention. I take utter disdain when our politicians try to use either of those narratives with us and say that we are naive if we think offshore detention is not the only way, that if we're for onshore detention and processing of asylum seekers, then we must also be pro people dying at sea. I find it utterly offensive, that narrative. And should I be elected as the federal member for Wentworth, I will continue my fight to shut down Manus and Nauru. If I am not elected, I will continue the same fight. So you've seen an alliance of views really on this stage, and in 2001 is when Australia put into place its Pacific Plan. Just in case that wasn't clear. The Pacific Plan was about overseas processing of asylum seekers, so whether it be Christmas Island or PNG or Nauru. But if you were found to be a genuine asylum seeker, you were then transferred to Australia. So what changed in 2013? Well, in 2013 started Pacific Plan 2, which was the same as Pacific Plan 1. However, there were a couple of key differences. The differences are extensive and are part of the critical problem that we find ourselves in now. Firstly, if you are found to be a genuine asylum seeker, you will remain where you are. You will not come to Australia. Secondly, the purview of the security and the management of those sites is no longer under Australian law. It is moved to an arrangement with Manus and Nauru, and it is under their purview and management and oversight. And then the third piece to that is the media blackout. Now, the combination of those factors is an utter red flag up a pole for anyone in this country that we export our responsibility to people and we can't see what they're doing. It is just utterly unacceptable. And they feed in exactly to the federal policies that I'm standing on and what separates me from the other candidates in this race. That the mix between the external and voices and vested interests in our current political decision-making process must be removed. So on the media front, at the Pacific Forum in September, you had the ABC and The Guardian not allowed into Nauru. You had the president of Nauru weigh into the situation and attack our media. And you had journalists arrested that did try to get there. Is this acceptable to us?
No.
It is, and to think that it's acceptable to our politicians astounds me. To think that private parties are actually profiteering from this is unacceptable to me as well. But that's what's currently happening. The other part of the media scope that's happening currently, and I've spoken with people at the Refugee Council about this, is when they try to raise this issue with our media in Australia, it gets a very distorted view. Or it can't get into the ether of the media either. So when you try to present to a News Corp publication, does anyone want to have a guess how much of the media News Corp owns in Australia? 70%. Oh, thank you. Then we can't even raise this issue on an onshore platform. So let me wind up with this. You have an absolute elevated right and responsibility in 6 days' time to make sure that you vote on this issue to ensure that you send an absolute message to the Liberal Party, not preferences, on this issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.